Hey, we got to say hi to Tom Green in studio. TomGreen.com.
All right. How's it
What's up,
going?
Tom?
Oh, my God. This is exciting.
We've talked to you a few times on the phone over the years.
Yeah, here
Not
we
in
are.
a while, but first time live in studio. Pretty cool.
This is exciting. Thanks for having me on.
No
This is great.
problem. We were talking about his TomGreen.com.
Right.
And the fact that he does a show on there from his living room.
I built a TV studio in my living room.
Yeah, you just built a TV studio in your living room. Did it start out like you saying, I want to build a TV studio in my living room, or just grab a camera and a mic and then you kind of got out of control buying shit?
You know what? I've had this website for a long time. I've had it, since, it's been up since 1996, the website. But, obviously...
It's like the first website ever.
Yeah. It's sort of, well, But, you couldn't do the video until maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And, I started putting them up in my blog at first, and I thought, it'd be cool to run a multi-camera through a switcher. That's kind of how I started out in Canada. I started doing my show on public access station, and I took television and radio broadcasting, so I kind of have a little bit of that techie bug in me, and I thought, I could put a switcher in here, we could run it all through here, and we did
Couple of cameras, do that.
Yep.
You got like a director that runs everything. You do it yourself.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, one guy comes in and he'll sit in the corner. We built the control room is just in the corner of the living room. He sits there and he runs up and has to adjust all the cameras as we go and stuff. And it's been going great though. We've had so many great guests and lots of cool people.
Yeah, how do you get guests like to just go, hey, come over to my house? And is that pretty much it? You just
basically, we've had a talent booker working for the show at periods when we do it nightly.
We would love one of those.
Wow, really?
We actually had a little budget for a while.
They say we have a talent booker. I don't know. I don't know if we really do.
Yeah, so we call everybody up, and then people would come do it, and it's been going good.
I've seen some Dice clips. They were funny when you had Dice on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the cool thing about doing the show is I didn't know Dice before he came and did the show. Now Dice and I are friends, and he's come
do you get the middle of the night phone calls?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I call him too, though.
Where it's like 3 hours at Dice, and you get to talk for 5 minutes.
We give each other middle of the night calls.
We've been through that, Tom.
I like the fact that Dice gave me marital advice or advice on my divorce. Before he got his, which was kind of funny.
He just got married. He just got married.
I know.
Did he get
Why
married
would you
again?
do that?
Did he have a big wedding?
Yeah, he just got married in Vegas.
Vegas.
I was invited. I couldn't go. I've been on tour. I'm doing a world tour. Doing a world tour right now. Doing my first ever stand-up comedy tour. Jim.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see. It said that you had started stand-up. I didn't know you did. You're doing comics. It's February 18th through 20th. Yeah. It's a great club here in New York. It's in like the meatpacking district. On like 14th Street and 9th, and you can go to Comics New York. It's spelled COMIXNY.com. I didn't know you did stand up.
Yeah, I'm just sort of really jumping into it now. I mean, I did it when I was a teenager. I don't know if I did it for a couple of years when I was in high school, and then I went back to took broadcasting, started my public access show, never did it again, and have been sort of itching to do it. And about a year ago, I started jumping up in L.A. at the Comet.
How was it going up as a famous guy and like? Okay, all of a sudden they expect something from you because you're Tom Green and they all know who you are, and having to kind of like break in. Now it's easier to break in when you're a nobody because nobody expects anything of you.
Yeah, I was nervous about it at first. Maybe that's why I procrastinated the last 5 years to actually get up and do it, because I've been meaning to do it. And then the first night I jumped up at the Comedy Store, I think it kind of helped, as people kind of were yelling out scenes from Freddie Got Fingered and stuff like this. And, I wasn't sure if I'd have the audience out of the gate. I did, so that was cool. So then I just had to write some jokes, but I've been, doing that for the last 6 months, a year or so.
I got to ask you about Freddie Got Fingered, because it makes a lot of people's list as the worst movie ever made. But there's a part two to this, though, for real. But people that do love this freaking movie.
Yeah,
it's either you fucking love it or you think it's a pile of garbage.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really made for the people that are putting it on those lists. These old.
So that doesn't bother you when it makes those lists.
Well, did it first because I thought maybe that the movie was so ridiculous that people would see that I wasn't trying to make the jazz singer or whatever. But when they don't see that and they think, you were trying to make a real serious movie, and they come in and criticize it. It was a little bit surprising at first. Now it's funny. It's actually turned into sort of this thing in the last 5 years. Yeah, I mean, I just and
I didn't mean to be so harsh, but that's really how that's really how they put the movie out there, and then people will call all the time and go, "Dude, that's one of the funniest movies ever made."
It's been the coolest thing about doing this tour. I mean, like, we've been on tour for 6 weeks. Basically haven't been home in 6 weeks. I'm in Nashville, Houston, Louisville, Kentucky, Edmonton, Canada, Florida, and every show, halfway through the show, someone will yell out, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" Which is the scene from the movie. This is, you can see why it got the reviews. But so it's cool, and everyone starts singing it, and it's people. It's really kind of been a fun thing. It's a fun sort of vindication in a lot of ways. People bring the DVDs down, and it's done really good on DVD. It sold 1 million units of DVD. So I just found that out. I didn't know that it was. I didn't know that people liked it as much as they did. I mean, if people always come up to me on the street, they say, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" all the time on the street, and I thought, "Oh, this is cool," and when people started sort of really getting into it at the live show, I called the studio and found out that it's actually. Selling DVDs.
I hope you get a piece of that.
I want to do a director's cut. I want to do a director's cut.
I hope you get a piece of that, right?
I haven't seen a piece of it, but I think it's maybe soon. Maybe if it sells another 1 million, that's when you get a piece of it.
Yeah, they're such scum in Hollywood. No, we're just trying to recoup costs.
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot to make.
But I want to do a director's cut of Freddy Got Fingered. I really do, because there's a lot of footage. When you make a big movie like that, and it's sort of a ridiculous. I mean, we were trying to push it. Every scene, trying to make every scene so shocking that it was, wrong. And, they make you focus group the movie, then they make you change everything, and they make you shorten it and all this stuff. So it wasn't really exactly the way I wanted it to be. So
back in the old MTV show days, did you find like you were trying to top yourself? Like was it tough to go like, "Oh my God, I'm like sucking off an animal." Yeah. And what do I do next week?
Cow. It was a cow.
Yeah, a cow. It was the udder. Yes, the udders. But oh my God, good technique, by the way.
I never sucked off anything other than a cow, though.
Yes, the cow.
Yeah, it's a breast.
The udder.
It's a breast.
Of course.
No, I mean,
And then didn't the milk squirt in your face?
Oh, yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
I do remember
It was definitely, the goal was to try to...
It was classic.
Get something on TV that looked like something else. But,
Exactly.
But, that was sort of the point. We were always trying to top things. And at the time, that sort of gross out thing wasn't something I'd really seen too much of on TV, and we were thinking, what have we not seen on TV? And, I haven't seen anybody suck milk out of a cow's udder. Okay, well, we should probably do that then.
And continue with that, one of my favorites was the dead raccoon.
Yeah, that's a little Canadian moment. And,
he brought a dead raccoon on a Canadian. It was a talk show, right?
Yeah, Canadian talk show, yeah.
And the fucking always ends up puking, man.
Yeah.
How bad did it really, truly smelled as bad as we can imagine.
Yeah, it was like the Canadian version of David Letterman. It was called Mike Bullard show, and I came out with a suitcase, sort of. So I grew up watching Letterman and loving when Chris Elliott would come out with something in a paper bag or something, and then I thought, okay, well, we'll bring out a suitcase and pull out a dead raccoon. I tried to shave it, and then he
Did you almost puke?
Yeah, it was pretty rank. We'd actually had that dead raccoon for a few months, and because I was doing my show in Canada at the time. It was before it was on MTV, but it was winter, so I'd keep it out in the balcony, and it would freeze, and then we'd thaw it out every night for the show. But it was fun. It was fun.
You got it, especially back then. You just got this reputation as being completely insane. Yeah. And what was the separation between that Tom Green and because obviously you had to know. You have to have some kind of business sense and stuff, but you're just running around like a complete lunatic.
Yeah.
How'd you separate that?
Yeah, I always just kind of.
And especially when people are constantly probably coming up to you and just quoting all the stuff. And
yeah, we were sort of running on a lot of adrenaline too. It was just 10 years ago. We were sort of very excited, and to be just sort of filming something. When we first started, it was just exciting to have a video camera, right? And we had all this sort of sort of hyperactivity, and we'd be going out and thinking of the craziest thing to do. And I guess I probably used to be more insane maybe when I was younger. Yeah. But then after you start putting it all on tape, you think, okay, let's save the insanity for when we're filming.
Yeah, and, not dealing with the executives or something.
yeah. That was the big thing. That was really kind of the most I'd say the most interesting thing about when we went to MTV was we'd been doing the show for about 7 years in Canada, and it was all independent, and I edited everything myself. And then all of a sudden we were at MTV, moved to New York City. They brought us